Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. So today I'm actually going to be doing a voiceover, which I have not done in quite a long time except for one video, but I have been cold. I have been cold. I've had a cold. I still have a cold. So if I sound stuffy or can't catch my breath, that is the reason why. But I am going to try to get through this video and give you guys a full-on tutorial on how to do short nails. Now I know it sounds super simple, but a lot of people do not know how to do short nails. A lot of people have a very hard time doing shorties, and I get that so much. I get a lot of people who come to me for shorties because of the way that I shape them, and they always tell me that the people that they go to or have been to before did not shape them how they wanted them to be shaped. So I figured I'd do a video showing you guys exactly how I do my shape, which is fairly simple and just all what I do from prep until the very end. So I have already pushed back her cuticles. I'm now taking a cuticle bit. This is a random cuticle bit. I don't even know where I got this cuticle bit from. I do have another one coming in from AliExpress that I ordered, so I will show you all that one too and give you a link when it does come in, because it is very similar to this one. But this is my favorite one to use for getting all of the dead skin off of the nail, and the dead skin on the nail is the cuticle. All of the clearish white skin that you see lifted from the nail is also dead, so that is what we will be clipping away with cuticle nippers. I do have this going in reverse right now, but before I did have it going in forward, and that is just to get every piece of dead skin that I can off of the nail plate. And I am going to show you guys one more time. I usually only keep one hand in my videos and then show you guys the final result. If they are if both of the hands are the same, I usually just show one hand. But I did want to take the time out in this video to be super informative and very detailed. So right now I do have my cuticle bit and my nail drill going in forward motion. And then when I go the opposite way, I am going to place my nail drill in reverse. So that is just to get, like I said, get all of the dead skin off of the nail plate and lift up any dead skin off of the nail plate that I will be clipping off with some cuticle nippers. Now, if you are scared of cuticle nippers, I would suggest getting a cuticle ball bit. That will get most of the dead skin off that is lifted, but I really highly recommend cuticle nippers just because it will give you like a cleaner look, in my opinion. Now I know they can be very, very intimidating and scary because you are scared that you might cut somebody, which I still to this day am scared of doing, and that is why I go super slow. You guys are gonna see how slow I go with cuticle nippers. 2 years in, y'all, and I still go super slow on people's cuticles just because, well, the dead skin, just because I'm scared of cutting somebody, and cuticle nippers are no joke when you do cut somebody. So I've never had that experience. I've never cut any of my clients or anything like that, but I have cut myself before, and yeah, it's just not a good feeling. So be super careful if you can. And as you can see right here, all of the white that you see is dead. All of that is dead skin, so you are able to cut that. You are never able to cut living skin. Living skin is always going to look like what is the same color of her natural skin color. If it is dead skin, then it will typically look white or a clearish white color. So you'll be able to distinguish the difference once you start getting the hang of it. And also if you study, if you are going to nail school, which is just another reason why people need to go to nail school, so you can learn these things and be very knowledgeable of what you are doing when you are having a client or somebody that you're doing nails on other than yourself. It's just certain things that you probably wouldn't know unless you went to nail school or unless somebody else was teaching you or told you about it. So even though this video is based on how to do shorties, I did want to keep the prep in and just show you guys exactly what I do as far as prep is concerned and how extensive I go in with prep when needed. Everybody does not get this just because everybody does not have excessive cuticle on their nail plate. Everybody does not have like overgrown cuticles as well. So those are just things that you're gonna know if they need it or if they don't need it when they come in. And once you start getting various amounts of clients and you start, you know, just seeing different skin types or different nail types or different nail shapes or how people's nails grow, how people's skin grows. My cuticles grow super, super fast, and I feel like as soon as I clip them, I need to do another prep like a week later. So, but some people, I have clients that I'll do this prep one time and they won't need any extensive cuticle prep or anything like that for about 2 fills. So it really just depends on the client. This is actually my friend's cousin, and this was a last minute appointment. I think she came at 6:30 and we were done at 10. So it did take like 3.5 hours. I usually always take 3 hours to 4 hours on a set. Like the quickest I'm going to go on a set, honestly, is like 2.5 hours. And I really think it's my prep that takes the longest. Everything else is kind of a breeze until we get my prep and my nail art take the longest. Like actually doing the acrylic takes no time. Like I think I take 20 minutes to do acrylic. Like to just lay down acrylic now is a breeze for me. It does not take me that long at all. But anyway, I just want to say that this was a last minute appointment, and yeah, I don't even know why I said that. It was really not needed in this video, but I don't know. Just it was a late night appointment, and I usually don't take late night appointments, but it ended up being a really cute set. Her birthday is coming up, and so yeah. Took a last minute and I was happy I did so and glad I could get this video out for y'all. But right now I am just taking a sanding band, and after I have cut all the cuticles, nipped all the cuticle off, I am going in with a sanding band and I'm going to go over the natural nail just to scuff it up a little bit, get rid of all the shine, and I'm going to get any more excessive dead skin that I see, any little bit around the corners and edges of the nail. And I'm also going to trim the nail with this. Now I do this instead of clipping now just because it's faster. I don't have to use 2 different tools to do it. So I go ahead and sand away on the natural nail, and then I will go underneath and just file down the nail to the length that I want it to be. So I have a thing with shorties where I really like to use shop tips, and I call shop tips these. They are just naturally curved tips. They're not too long, not too short. They're pretty thin, but they work just fine. And I got these from my local nail supply store, but I do call them shop tips because this is the type of tips that they use in the shop. Typically they're not clear, but these are the type of tips that are standard. We're so used to using straight tips these days that I think a lot of people don't even know, like new nail techs don't even realize that regular tips or standard tips are not straight. They are naturally curved and they look pretty much like this. So I actually feel like they hug the nail a lot better than straight tips. So I don't know, I kind of low-key want to get back into using them, but a lot of my clients do not do curved nails, so that is why I just geared towards the straight tips. However, I really like how these hug the nail. So anyway, I went ahead and placed them down with some Kiara Sky glue. I do make sure that my tips are sidewall to sidewall, and I make sure that the tips fit as perfectly or as close to perfect as I can get them, just so I can avoid filing. As you can see, I did not have to shape up the nails at all. They were already square once I cut them. So the most filing that I'm going to have to do is going to be at the end. My prep is the Mia Secret Bond. Well, first I wipe my nails down with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and then I will take some Mia Secret Bond, and then after that, which is right here, I will use the No Lift primer that I have linked in my Amazon storefront. If you are looking for all my prime steps and brushes that I use, I have all of that stuff linked in my Amazon storefront, which is linked in my bio down below. So you can find everything, pretty much everything that I use in my videos down there. In this video, we are going to be using, I'm pretty sure this is Prettiest Pink. I'm pretty sure this is Prettiest Pink by Valentino, V Beauty Pure. I do have a code for them, which is N2H, if you are looking for some money off of your purchase if you purchase through them. But this is the color that she picked out. I always give my clients the option to pick out a color. I just happen to have two Valentino at the top of my drawer, so she only had an option of Prettiest Pink, or I think it was what is the other nude that Valentino has? They have I think it's I don't know, it's like a pinky nude that Valentino has. I can't remember the name of it, but she went ahead and went with the pink versus the nude, which I thought was a very good option for the set that we were going to be doing, because it is a pretty much white Frenchy, white outline, white croc print design. So I thought a pink base would be better anyways. So the key for me to getting a really good square nail is honestly the tips. Like I said, the tips that I used and how I cut them, I just went straight across. And if you do need to file them, I would suggest filing them before you apply the acrylic. However, these tips fit her nails perfectly and they fit her sidewalls perfectly, so I didn't really need to shape them up too much. Some people do like a tad bit of a flare at the end of their shorties, of their square tip shorties. I typically don't, but these did have like just a tiny bit of a flare, and I will try and post a picture or two different pictures showing you guys the difference of what I'm talking about. Some people will really have them very narrow, almost like rectangle, and then some people will have them where it is like boxed. And then some people will also have shorties where they kind of flare at the tips just a little bit, but not too much. Not like a ducky flare, but just like a tad bit out from how their sidewalls are, if that makes sense. So like I said, I will try posting a picture to explain what I'm talking about, because it's very hard to explain these things sometimes without a visual. But the look that I have going for today in this video is pretty much just a regular square with a slight, just a slight flare at the tips. I did not make them too straight. Like when I say straight, I didn't file her tips in, like the very tip where I'm patting right now, that right there. I did not file those inwards to make them super narrow. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but today I did not. I just felt like this fit her nail and her fingers better, so that is what I went with, and I kept them pretty much like this even when we get to the filing, which I will show you guys in a second. But for shorties, I usually do a one bead, but my one beads aren't really one beads, if that makes sense. Excuse me, I'm trying not to laugh, because if I laugh I'm gonna cough. I do still have a cold, like I said, so I'm trying to get through this video without coughing up a lung in the voiceover. But yeah, I tried to do a one bead, but obviously if I'm going to need to fill in any gaps, which will be around the cuticle area or even at the tip, then I will do so. But I do not make my shorties thick. That is another thing that I think a lot of people go to other people. Like a lot of my clients have went to other nail techs and they were so bulky, or the shape just was not square how they liked it. So as far as the bulkiness, I would say use very small beads when you are doing shorties. Do not try to do a 1B method if you are just beginning to do shorties. I promise you, when I started doing shorties and I tried the 1B method, my nails were so bulky because, for one, I didn't have my liquid to powder ratio down, and that is going to be a huge factor in whether or not your nail is going to become bulky when you do a 1B method, because you might be placing the right amount of powder and liquid down, but the amount of time that you have to drag it down and kind of flatten it out and make sure that it is all seamless and smooth may not be where you're at right now. So you just have to know what you're working with and how to work with it before even trying to do certain things. So if you are watching this video and you are a beginner, I would definitely say check out this video. I will list it above for you all right here. It is a liquid to powder ratio video. I think that would be very helpful before you start getting into like shaping or designs or anything like that. I think powder to liquid to powder ratio is the first thing that you should master. And then I feel like shaping should be second. And application should be second, and then shaping. You want to make sure that your application is going to be as seamless as possible, and you're not going to have to do too much filing at the end, because that can also mess up the shape of your square tips or your square shorties. As you can see, you can look at them right now and they look pretty nice just as is. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you cut your tips to begin with is also going to play a vital role in how your shorties are going to look. So like I said, make sure that when you are using whatever tips, that they are pretty narrow and you are using the correct size on their nails, because if you are going too wide and then you start to place down acrylic, it's going to be even wider. Anytime you place down acrylic, it's going to make the nail a little bit more bulky and a little bit more wider than what it naturally is. And then that is when that's why we have to file at the end, just to get the shape back, or rebalance the nail or whatever the case may be. But you don't want to have to do that excessively. So make sure that one, your tips are going on right and you are using the right size. Make sure that they are fitting sidewall to sidewall, and make sure that they are not too big and not too small. And then when you are cutting them, make sure that they are as square as you want them to be at that point in time. You don't have to shape them up with a file or anything, because you're going to have to do that at the end. So it really doesn't make any sense to waste time in doing that before you apply acrylic. So you can just cut them with some scissors. If you're doing shorties, that is your best bet. You don't really need a nail clipper or a nail cutter tool. I don't use that for shorties. I use just scissors, and I prefer to use those because I get more of a straighter edge for some reason. I don't know. It might be in my head, but I like to do that. And then I just go ahead with the acrylic powder, and I am going to just go slowly down the nail and just follow the guide of that tip when I am placing the acrylic down. Now, as you can see, I am filling in any gaps or if I see any clear tip, you want to make sure that that is covered. You do not want any clear tip showing, because that can cause breakage of the nail. Even though these are shorties, they can still break, they can still crack on the side. Something can still go wrong with them. Obviously, it's not going to be as easy to break because they are shorties. And again, they are shorties. So you do not need too much acrylic. That's another thing that I think people get misconstrued. When you are doing shorties, you guys, you really don't need too much acrylic. Like, it's only a little bit of tip that is on the nail to begin with, and you don't need too much structure. You do not need a huge apex. I don't know if people are trying to like make a apex on shorties or whatever the case may be. You don't need all of that, in my opinion, my personal opinion. And I get people who get shorties all the time and they last forever, you guys. Like, their shorties last. I don't have any issues. I don't even cap my nails in clear unless it is like a super dark color or a super like pigmented color. So they last regardless, and I don't have any issues. But those are just a few tips that I wanted to tell you guys when doing shorties. Go light. Even though I'm doing one bead method right here, this is because I've been doing it for a while. But if you need to, do a 2 bead method and work your way up. But when you are doing 2B methods, please make sure that your beads are small and thin. Do not make them thick, because your nail is going to be thick, and then at the end you are going to have to file excessively, and that is just going to take you more time that you do not want to spend on doing your client's nails, because remember, you still have to do a design or whatever the case may be afterwards. So this is the easiest way for me, just to do a 1B method and then go ahead and fill in any gaps. Even if I wanted to, honestly, I could have left it just like that with that one bead. However, I am going to go back and place one more bead and just fill in any areas that I feel may need a little more thickness to it. But again, we are not making the nail super thick, and hopefully you guys can get a little side profile of the nails when I kind of shift the hand to the side, and you guys can see just how thin the nails are. And I still go in and debulk a little bit at the end, which you will see with my 5-in-1 bit in a second. So yeah, you guys, I hope I know I just explained a whole bunch in 20 minutes just now, and I didn't even take a breather or a break, but I just want to make sure that I'm getting every little detail that I can in this video to explain to you all what to do when doing shorties. If you do have any questions that you kind of come across when you're doing shorties, or you need some help with it, then please let me know. Like I said, I do in the beginning of the year plan to start doing classes and start doing even virtual or in-person classes. I know a lot of you are not in my area, so I am going to try to work out something where I am doing virtual classes for you all. That has been in the works for a very long time. I just have not been able to get it going, but definitely 2024, I am making a whole bunch of changes to the way that I teach you all, and I just want to get a little more personable and be able to help you guys one-on-one if you do want that assistance. So that is in the works. But yeah. So now I am taking a 5-in-1 bit. This is probably a medium or a fine 5-in-1 bit. I got this a very long time ago. It's a Pana 5-in-1 bit from Amazon. I do have that linked in my Amazon storefront. If you are looking for any of the 5-in-1 bits that I do use all safety bits. So anything that you ever see me use on my clients is always going to be a safety bit, unless I tell you otherwise. But 9 times out of 10, it is a safety bit. I don't even take chances with cutting my clients. I don't see the point. The 5-in-1 bit safety bits work just as good as the ones that are not safety bits. So I really don't see why you would use anything other than that when working on someone else, just so you don't even have to risk cutting them or, hurting your client. But I am taking it all around the cuticle area, and I am kind of placing my drill bit flat to the nail or parallel to the nail so that it is not cutting into their natural nail, if that makes sense. You do not want to damage their natural nail when doing this. However, you still want to make sure that you are sealing the cuticles very well. So you always want to make sure that you are getting up underneath that cuticle and the epinicium, and you are getting in between the skin and making sure that none of the acrylic is on the skin. That is what sealing the cuticle is. You want to make sure that none of the acrylic is touching the skin. If it is, that will cause lifting. So that is what I'm doing right here. And then I'm taking the drill bit and I am just going over the remainder of the nail and smoothing it all out and debulking wherever I see fit. But there wasn't too much to debulk, so really I was just smoothing the nail out with this 5-in-1 bit. And then I am going to take my file and I'm going to file on the sides, which you will see in a second. I do have this sped up just because I did not want to make this into a full-on shaping video. However, I did want to show you guys how I shape my shorties. So I do go underneath, and as you can see, I really do not, like I said, I don't really need to really shape up the shape of the shorties just because I kept the shape while I was applying the acrylic. They're already pretty square. If I do have a little bit of over spillage on the sides where I feel like the nails are too wide, then I am going to file the sides just a little bit. But for the most part, I'm just filing the sides just like this, just to square it off and make sure that it is crisp. I'm going up underneath the nail just like this, just to make sure that it is straight. I don't want the underside of my nail to have any overlapping or any extra acrylic. So I always make sure that the underside of my nail right here is straight. And as you can see, there was a little bit of acrylic right there. So I am going ahead and filing that off to make it straight underneath. And I just check my nails just like that. Again, the underside, making sure that's straight. You see how it kind of is curving over. I do not want my nails to curve over like that. So I am going to go up underneath the nail on the sides and just make that all straight until it is in a straight line. And then I'm going to take my file, and I am using an 80/80 grit file, you guys. Now I did get these 80/80 grit files off of Amazon, I think. Did I get them off Amazon? I think I got them off Amazon. I will link them in my Amazon storefront under files. I think they might already be linked. It was a big pack of them for a little cheaper than Pana 88 grit files. I don't know if I like them more than the Pana files or not, but they did do a very good job of straightening out the sidewalls for me, so in the edges of the nails. So far so good. I am taking a sanding band, same sanding band that I used to rough up the nail, and I am just smoothing out the top of her nails. And then I am going to also smooth it out with a buffer, of course, just to make sure that I didn't miss anything at all. And everything is super, super smooth and ready for the nail art. I do use the rough side of this buffer, and then I also use the soft side of it, like the smoothing side, which I didn't really show in the video, but I do use both sides. Then I'm just going to dust that away, and I will have my client go wash their hands first. And then I have them use a scrub I have them use that scrub from V Beauty Pure, which is Valentino. And I do always have to wipe down their nails afterwards before the nail art, just because there is oil in the scrub. So if they are using any type of scrub or any type of moisturizer after they have washed their hands and come back, then you always want to make sure that they are wiping their hands down, or you are wiping their nails down with alcohol before you are doing any nail art, or I promise you it's not going to come out right. Your top coat is going to look like it has bubbles in it, or it's going to look like it has gaps in it. Like some parts of the nail is not getting covered by the top coat, and you're wondering why. It's because the oil is making the top coat separate in different places. So always make sure that you are wiping the nail off with alcohol before you start your nail art. But before we went and washed the hands, I did show you the other hand a little bit more up close and a little more detailed of me just filing away and doing some cuticle sealing with the 501 bit. So that is all that I showed right there. And this is when she came back after washing her hands. I have already wiped her hands down with alcohol, or wiped her nails down with alcohol, and we're just doing some croc print. What you saw me place on the nail first was some blooming gel by Mia's Secret, which is also linked in my Amazon storefront. And I'm just going to let you guys watch me do that on a few more fingers. So the top coat that I'm using is the iGel Beauty No Wipe top coat, and this is my favorite top coat, you guys. I have been hoo-hoo hollering and raving about it since I got it in the mystery box last year. I also really like the Kiara Sky top coat, but I am pretty much out of that, so I do have to order some more whenever I get around to it. But those are my two favorite top coats that I would say are my go-tos when I just really want it to be super glossy. If I am looking for something quick and I have ran out of top coat and I need something on the fly from Amazon, I would definitely suggest the top coat by Beetles, the brand Beetles. That is a very good top coat. It's really shiny. However, I don't think it gives the same shine as iGel Beauty or Valentino's top coat, or sorry, not Valentino's. I've never tried Valentino's top coat, so if y'all like Valentino's top coat, let me know down below, but I've never tried theirs. I meant to say Kiara Sky or iGel Beauty top coat. So those are my two go-tos. If you are looking for something to get to you faster, then I would suggest Beetles top coat, and it's super cheap. It's like $6, $7 on Amazon, and you can get it on Prime, so it will come to you super fast. Now this is not a tutorial on Frenchies or any design or anything. I just wanted you guys to see how I do my shorties and how I shape them, how I start off with prep, what I do to the tips when I am placing them down, how I cut them. I will also say that keeping the shape at the end is very vital as well. I know there's like a lot, there's a lot of very vital steps in this video, but no, seriously, like keeping the shape and wiping your nails down on the sides after you have done some painting. So after I do these Frenchies, I don't know if I show it in the video, but after I do the Frenchies in the sides, I also kind of like just tap the sides a little bit with my fingers and make sure that no white gel polish is dripping off the sides. I also sometimes go underneath the nail just with my finger, just lightly tap it just to make sure that nothing is dripping over the sides of the nails, and that ensures that I keep the shape. You always want to do this even if you're not doing square. Like, you don't have to be doing square shape to know to do that. This is something that you should always be doing no matter what shape that you are doing, no matter what nails you're doing. It's just to keep the shape of the nail. You don't want it to look like the polish overspilled on the side of the nail in one spot. It just it messes up the shape in general. So always make sure that you're wiping the nails down afterwards on the sides, and I will show you guys what I mean when I place the top coat on. But we are going to go ahead and just do a little bit of bling. She wanted some bling on her ring fingers, so we just went ahead and placed some AB Crystal rhinestones. These rhinestones are from Dynamic Nail Supply. I have a big case of them that I got in a mystery box last year as well. Now, typically, if I'm doing a really super pretty extravagant bling set like this one, I'll place some pictures up here for you guys, or some videos if you want to go check those out, some recent ones that I did. Then I will use Preciosa stones and not, the cheaper rhinestones, just because they look a lot better and they sparkle a lot better. There is definitely a huge difference. I don't care what anybody says. Don't let nobody lie to you. Preciosa stones are so much better. Serenity stones are so much better. Swarovski stones are so much better than the ones that you get off Amazon. They just look 10 times better, you guys, I promise. But this is what I mean by cleaning up the sides. Just go ahead and clean up the sides of any spillage. Make sure that nothing is touching the cuticles. And this is what I mean by wiping the sides before curing, so that you have a very nice square shape when you are done. And this is what they came out looking like, you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know I talked so much, and hopefully I didn't talk super fast. Hopefully you guys understood a lot of what I was saying. If you do have any questions down below, if you do have any questions, please leave a comment down below and I will surely try to get back and answer them. But I hope to see you guys in my next video. Make sure that you are subscribed and go ahead and like this video for me, and I will see y'all in the next one. Mwah. I love y'all so much. Bye.